Welcome back to the channel, basketball fans. And brace yourselves, because today we are breaking down a story that could completely shift the tectonic plates of international basketball. If you thought the Philippine national basketball team had already reached its absolute ceiling, if you thought the historic gold medal run at the Hangzhou Asian Games was the peak of the mountain, you need to sit down and listen very closely to what is developing right now. We are talking about the undeniable, unstoppable power of Gilas Pilipinas, or as the international media has sometimes translated it, the absolute power of the glass, the raw strength and dominance of Philippine basketball on the Asian stage. We have a massive, groundbreaking update regarding the ultimate dream scenario for the Philippines. We are talking about the continuation, the realization, and the undeniable firepower of the JC and JB tandem. Yes, you heard me right. Jordan Clarkson and Justin Brownlee, together on the same court, wearing the same flag. And this isn't just fan fiction or wishful thinking from the comment section. This is coming straight from the locker room, straight from the heart of the team, according to none other than Gilas Pilipinas captain and ultimate defensive anchor, Chris Newsome. Ladies and gentlemen, the implications of this are absolutely staggering. For years, the debate in Philippine basketball has always been a painful one. Do we bring in the NBA pedigree, the sheer scoring volume, and the superstar aura of Jordan Clarkson? Or do we rely on the undeniable chemistry, the legendary clutch gene, and the unparalleled dedication of Justin Brownlee, the man who practically bleeds in national colors and delivered us from a 61-year gold medal drought? The thought of having to choose between them has divided fans, analysts, and coaches alike. But what if we didn't have to choose? What if the Asian Games, with its historically unique and sometimes more flexible eligibility rules compared to strict FIBA-sanctioned tournaments, provides a perfect loophole, the perfect stage for these two titans to finally unite? Chris Newsome recently expressed massive excitement. He is absolutely thrilled, and frankly, so is the entire nation, at the prospect of this unstoppable duo leading the charge in the upcoming Asian Games. This isn't just a roster update. This is a declaration of war on the rest of Asian basketball. When Chris Newsome, a player who has embodied the very soul, the grit, and the sacrifice of the Gilas program, speaks out about the energy surrounding this potential tandem, you know there is fire behind the smoke. Newsome himself knows what it takes to win at the highest level in Asia. He was there, locking down former NBA players, securing that historic gold. He knows the grueling nature of the tournament. And for him to publicly vocalize the excitement of a Clarkson and Brownlee team-up means the internal belief within the Gilas camp is at an all-time high. We are looking at a scenario where the offensive gravity of Jordan Clarkson, a former NBA Sixth-Man of the Year, is paired with the do-it-all, Swiss Army knife brilliance of Justin Brownlee. This is a nightmare for opposing coaches. This is a puzzle that teams like Japan, China, Korea, and Lebanon might simply not have the personnel solve. In this exhaustive deep dive, we are going to unpack every single layer of this massive development. We're going to look at the history of these two megastars with the national team, the tactical genius required to make them coexist on the floor, the eligibility nuances that make the Asian Games a perfect breeding ground for this experiment, and why Chris Newsome's stamp of approval is the ultimate green light for Philippine basketball fans to start dreaming bigger than ever before. Grab your drinks, settle in, because this is the deep dive you've been waiting for. The landscape of the Asian Games is about to change forever, and the power of Gilas Pilipinas is about to be unleashed like never before. Let's get into the deep dive. To truly understand the magnitude of a potential Jordan Clarkson and Justin Brownlee tandem, we have to rewind and examine the unique, parallel journeys these two absolute legends have taken within the Philippine basketball ecosystem. They are, in many ways, two sides of the exact same coin, both adopted sons of the Philippines, both possessing an otherworldly ability to put the ball in the hoop, yet bringing completely different flavors, different philosophies, and different tactical advantages to the hardwood. Let's start with Justin Brownlee. JB is not just an import. He is a national treasure. His legacy in the Philippine Basketball Association is bulletproof. 6 PBA championships, multiple Best Import awards, and a reputation as the most clutch player of his generation. But his transition to the national team is what elevated him from a basketball star to a bona fide national hero. When the call came to become a naturalized citizen and represent Gilas Pilipinas, Brownlee didn't just accept it. He embraced it with a passion that resonated with every single Filipino. We all remember the 2023 Asian Games in Hangzhou. The Philippines had not tasted gold in men's basketball for 61 grueling years. We were facing a dominant Jordanian team led by Rondae Hollis Jefferson, another former NBA player who was playing out of his mind. And what did Justin Brownlee do? He put the entire country on his back. He hit impossible shots. He grabbed crucial rebounds, and he willed that team to a gold medal. Brownlee's game is built on extreme basketball IQ, an incredibly smooth perimeter stroke, an uncanny ability to read the defense and take exactly what is given to him. He doesn't force the issue. He lets the game come to him, which is a rare and precious trait in international basketball. He knows how to play alongside local stars because he has spent nearly a decade doing exactly that in the PBA. He understands the spacing, he understands the timing, and most importantly, he understands the pressure of the Filipino crowd. Then you look at the other side of the equation, Jordan Clarkson. JC brings an entirely different dimension to the table. We are talking about a legitimate, active, highly productive NBA scorer. Clarkson's offensive bag is deeper than the Marianas Trench. He possesses a kind of elite, explosive first step, shot creation ability, and deep-range shooting that you simply cannot teach, and that very few players in the history of Asian basketball have ever possessed. When Clarkson puts on that Gilas jersey, the entire gravitational pull of the defense shifts towards him. He forces double teams, he commands full-court denial, and he creates absolute panic in the opponent's scouting report. We saw glimpses of his brilliance during the FIBA World Cup. Even when opposing teams game planned entirely around stopping him, he still found ways to get to the spots, elevate over defenders, and score in bunches. Clarkson represents the ultimate ceiling raiser. He gives Gilas an offensive safety valve. When the shot clock is winding down and the play breaks down, you can hand the ball to Jordan Clarkson, get out of the way, and watch him go to work. Now, imagine these two forces on the court at the absolute same time. The tactical implications are mind-boggling. Opposing defenses in the Asian games usually rely on packing the paint, playing physical zone defenses, and forcing international teams into tough, contested jump shots. How do you play a zone defense when you have Jordan Clarkson and Justin Brownlee spaced out on the wings? If you double-team Clarkson on the pick and roll, he kicks it out to a wide-open Brownlee, who is automatic from beyond the arc. If you try to put your best perimeter defender on Brownlee, you leave Clarkson matched up one-on-one, which is a recipe for an absolute scoring masterclass. Furthermore, Brownlee's exceptional passing ability and unselfishness make him the perfect complementary star to Clarkson's high-usage scoring style. Brownlee can easily slide into a point-forward role, initiating the offense on the high post, setting brutal screens, and allowing Clarkson to play off the ball, running off pin downs and catching the ball on the move. It transforms the Gilas offense from a predictable, ISO-heavy system into a fluid, dynamic, and multi-headed monster. But we cannot talk about this offensive juggernaut without talking about the defensive anchor, the glue guy, the captain who is hyping all of this up, Chris Newsome. Why is Newsome's perspective so incredibly vital here? Because Chris Newsome is the ultimate testament to the Gilas Pilipinas culture. This is a man who was one of the final cuts for the FIBA World Cup roster. For many players, that kind of heartbreak would be the end of their national team journey. They would pack their bags, hold a grudge, and focus on their club careers. Not Chris Newsome. He stayed. He helped the team warm up. He acted as a scout player. He supported his brothers. And when his number was finally called for the Asian Games, he responded by playing the tournament of his life, famously locking down Rondae Hollis Jefferson in that gold medal game. Newsome understands sacrifice. He understands that a team full of stars still needs players willing to do the dirty work, to fight over screens, to dive for loose balls, to take the toughest defensive assignments. When Chris Newsome says he is a tat, we're incredibly eager and excited to see the Clarkson-Brownlee tandem. He is speaking from the perspective of a leader who knows how to make all the pieces fit. Newsome knows that if JC and JB are handling the offensive load, it frees up players like himself, Scotty Thompson, Dwight Ramos, and Calvin Oftana to focus entirely on locking down the perimeter, pushing the pace in transition, and crashing the glass. Newsome is essentially the conductor of this orchestra. He knows that chemistry isn't just about throwing talented players on a court. It's about mutual respect, defined roles, and a shared desire to win. With Newsome holding the locker room together and setting the tone on defense, the potential ego clashes or ball dominance issues that often plague super teams are completely neutralized. We also have to dive deeply into the eligibility factors that make this Asian Games dream a realistic possibility. The strict rules of FIBA, the international governing body of basketball, dictate that a country can only field one naturalized player per tournament. This rule has been a massive thorn in the side of the Samahang basketball in Pilipinas, forcing them into the heartbreaking position of choosing between Clarkson and Brownlee for World Cup and Olympic qualifying events. However, the Asian Games are governed by the Olympic Council of Asia, which historically has utilized a different, often more lenient set of eligibility guidelines regarding passport holders and heritage players. If the Philippine Olympic Committee and the SBP can successfully navigate these rules, perhaps classifying one as a heritage player based on local passport issuance dates and the other as a designated naturalized player, the door swings wide open. This administrative chess match is just as crucial as the game played on hardwood. The fact that the Gilas brass and players like Newsome are openly discussing this tandem suggests that there is genuine, tangible hope that the paperwork, the lobbying, and the rulebook interpretation will fall in favor of the Philippines for the upcoming games in Nagoya. This isn't just about winning another gold medal. This is about sending a message. For decades, the Philippines has been the undisputed king of Southeast Asian basketball, but on the broader Asian stage, we have often had to play the role of the scrappy underdog, fighting through sheer heart in puso against taller, heavily funded programs like China, Iran, and Australia. The combination of Clarkson, Brownlee, Newsome, and the emerging young core flips that narrative entirely. Suddenly, Gilas Pilipinas isn't just a team that can pull off an upset. They become the hunted. They become the measuring stick. They become the team that everyone else in Asia has to spend sleepless nights trying to game plan against. Think about the psychological impact on the opponents. Basketball is as much a mental game as it is physical. When an opposing team walks onto the court and sees Jordan Clarkson lacing up his sneakers, knowing he drops 20 points a night on the best defenders in the world, and then they look over and see Justin Brownlee, the man who breaks hearts in the clutch, the psychological battle is already half won by the Philippines. Add in the relentless, suffocating defense of Chris Newsome and the imposing presence of Kai Sato or an A.J. Edu in the paint, and you have a roster that is constructed to dominate in every single phase of the game. The power of this tandem also extends far beyond the four corners of the basketball court. The cultural impact of bringing these two icons together cannot be overstated. Basketball in the Philippines is a religion. It is the great unifier. In times of triumph and in times of struggle, the nation rallies around its basketball heroes. Jordan Clarkson represents the Filipino dream realized on the global stage of the NBA. Justin Brownlee represents the adopted son who loved the country so much he made it his own. Seeing them share the court, high-fiving after a fast break dunk, lifting each other up after a tough play. It will create moments, images, and memories that will be burned into the minds of Filipino sports fans for generations. It will inspire millions of kids playing barefoot on makeshift courts in the provinces, showing them that the power of Philippine basketball knows absolutely no bounds. As we look toward the preparation for the Asian Games, the training camps will be crucial. Coach Tim Cohn, or whoever is at the helm, will face the incredible, envious task of blending these talents. We will likely see a system heavily reliant on motion, read and react principles, and exploiting mismatches. When you have two players with gravity like JC and JB, the secondary actions become lethal. A simple pick and roll involving Clarkson can pull three defenders, leaving a trailing Brownlee for a top-of-the-key three. Or, Brownlee can operate in the post against a smaller Asian wing, wait for the double team, and skip the ball across the court to a waiting, wide-open Clarkson. It is a clinic in offensive geometry waiting to happen. And anchoring all of this, maintaining composure, and ensuring the defensive intensity never drops, will be Captain Chris Newsome, the engine that keeps the sports car running smoothly. As we wrap up this extensive analysis, the magnitude of what is brewing within the Gilas Pilipinas camp is truly awe-inspiring. We are standing on the precipice of what could be the most legendary era in the history of Philippine international basketball. The title says it all: the power of the glass, the unyielding strength of Gilas at the Asian Games. The continuation of the JC and JB tandem is no longer just a whispered rumor in the dark corners of basketball forums. It is a very real, highly anticipated possibility that is being championed by the team's very own captain, Chris Newsome. This potential roster construction is a masterclass in blending elite, world-class talent with undeniable local chemistry and heart. Jordan Clarkson brings the lightning, the fast-paced, unguardable NBA scoring ability that can break open a game in a matter of minutes. Justin Brownlee brings the thunder, the steady, powerful, clutch presence that anchors a team in the most high-pressure situations imaginable. And Chris Newsome brings a shield, the defensive tenacity, the leadership, and the selfless dedication that turns a group of talented individuals into a true, cohesive brotherhood. If the stars align, if the eligibility rules allow it, and if this team takes the floor in Nagoya, the rest of Asia is officially on notice. The days of the Philippines merely hoping for a medal are over. This is a team built for absolute supremacy. This is a team built to defend their crown and prove that the gold medal in Hangzhou was not a fluke, but the beginning of a dynasty. The excitement radiating from Chris Newsome is infectious, and it is a clear indicator that the players believe in this vision just as much as the millions of fans watching at home. I want to hear from you down in the comments section below. How do you think opposing teams will even attempt to guard a lineup featuring both Jordan Clarkson and Justin Brownlee? Do you think this is the greatest Gilas Pilipinas roster ever assembled on paper? And how crucial do you think Chris Newsome's leadership will be in making sure these two superstars mesh perfectly on the court? Drop your thoughts, your tactical breakdowns, and your predictions down below because I will be reading and responding to as many as I can. If you enjoyed this incredibly detailed deep dive into the future of Gilas Pilipinas, please make sure to smash that like button. It really helps push this video out to more passionate basketball fans. Hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell so you never miss an update, because as we get closer to the Asian Games, we will be covering every single training camp update, every roster move, and every piece of breaking news regarding this historic team. The future of Philippine basketball is incredibly bright, and the power of Gilas has never been stronger. Thank you so much for tuning in, for your continuous support, and for sharing the passion for the game we all love. Keep the faith, keep supporting the national team, and I will see you all in the next deep dive.